Go for it.
Happy Monday, everyone. I don't know about you guys, but I am so freaking excited for this week. Lindsey and I were talking kind of like on the side one day, and we're like, yeah, we should 100,000% run this call because we've been utilizing Bumble for recruiting for a while now. And I'll never forget the first time I started using it. Um, Literally, I didn't even know that Bumble BFF existed. And then when I found out about it, I was like, that's a thing? Yes, because I kept telling Veronica, I don't have a lot of people in my life, which is bullshit. We really do, but it's an extra, plethora of people that you can put into, your current situation. So the first thing that I want everybody to understand and like write this down, highlight it, save it in your memory is that recruiting is a numbers game. The more people that you talk to, the more opportunities that you have to pitch, the more opportunities that you have to close, more will always equal more. And the second thing is that I don't know about you guys, but at least for me, and this is funny because I came from a business of 10 years of doing recruiting, I was like scared to put myself out there. Like I was too scared and I would hesitate to make offers and there's no really secret sauce to recruiting. The things that we're going to go over are probably things that you already know, but sometimes you need to hear it multiple times to have like that aha moment. So I'm just going to kind of dive into some of the things that I noticed in using Bumble when I was watching other people, um, whether they were other Monet girls or whether it was, other network marketing girls. The biggest thing you need to do is separate yourself from them. And if you're the exact same, they're just going to skip through your profile really quick. So there's some simple things that you can do on your actual profile itself to stand out. So like the first thing that I wrote down is like set up your about me section. People, the whole point of this app is to go on and meet people and create friendships. And the only way that they're going to do that is if you get to know them and vice versa, they get to know you. So take the time to actually answer those questions in the profile part so that way they understand a little bit more about you. You can also set up pictures. Set up pictures, like show them your life. Like whether you have dogs or kids or like trips you've gone on or whatever, like show them that side of you and who you are because that's going to get people relating with you. And the only suggestion that I have, obviously we're really proud of what we do and we represent Monet with our hats and our shirts and all of the fun stuff that we have, but I don't put those pictures on Bumble. And there's a reason for that. It's because I don't want them to prejudge me. If they see a Monet hat right away, what's the first thought that they're going to think? This girl's trying to sell me or she's trying to get me to join the team. No, I want to get to know people. Like I want them to see who I am versus what they see on the surface. And that leads into my next point. Sometimes people put Instagram handles on their actual profile. I don't do that because, again, I don't want them to prejudge me. I want them to actually take the time to get to know me. And if they're going to prejudge me right out of the gates just because of something that they see, they could miss out on this wild opportunity and friendship with me, let's be honest. So I want to throw it over to, actually, hold on really quick. Sorry, I'm just reading my notes. Oh, my biggest challenge I think that I had when I first started using Bumble or recruiting in general, and if you look at Veronica's face, she's probably going to start laughing. I went into every single conversation with the intent to pitch them. So I would send screenshots over to Veronica and I'd be like, hey, should I bring it up now? Uh,
You're muted. There you go.
Sorry, can you hear me? Thumbs up? Okay, cool. So I would go into it. I would send her a screenshot and I'll be like, okay, should I pitch it now? And she's like, no, like not yet. You gotta build relationships. And I would hear that over and over. And to the point where I was like, holy fuck, man, like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm supposed to pitch people. Like, this is what we do. And I had it twisted. Like, we don't need to go into the conversations with the mentality that you're there to pitch them. That's why these people don't want to talk to people in network marketing industries. That's the harsh reality, is because people in this industry, if they treat it that way, people on the other end of it, they're feeling pitched, they're feeling just that sales type approach. So I want to be very genuine with the relationships that I create, and I want to build a solid foundation and a relationship with them before I even talk business. And then the other thing is, just don't force the conversations. There's going to be some conversations that you have where it's like one worded answers. Okay, and next. Like, I'm not going to force the conversation with people. You cannot force friendships. You cannot force relationships. If there's somebody that doesn't want to chat, cool. If you ask questions and they're still kind of resistant, just move on, right? Again, it's a relationship driven business, and I can't create a relationship with them if it's not a two-way street. So if I was to say any sort of secret sauce to this type of recruiting, it is all about the relationships that you create. And I'm going to pass it over to Lindsey, because she has been kicking ass with building relationships with people. So Lindsey, take it away. I'm going to mute myself.
Thanks. Yeah, so I'm one of those people that just likes to talk with other people that I haven't met before. I really like getting to know other people. And one of the things that I have learned to do is just to create a natural conversation. There are going to be girls on there that on their profiles, it says no MLMs, but I still swipe right on them, and I still create the community with them, because even if they don't want the pitch, they may want the friendship. You don't know what type of relationship you're going to have with that person. They could be your next MMB. They could be your next SED. They could be your next best friend. Like, you don't know. Obviously be particular about where you're swiping. For me personally, I'm not a smoker, so I don't want to hang out with people that smell like cigarettes. So anytime that it says anything but don't smoke, left. So with relationships, I swipe right. I just start off with like, hey, how are you? How's your day been going? Depending on what the event is, if it's like a weekend or if there's like a big game on or something. But I always reference something if I'm not in a hurry, which typically I'm not, but if I'm not in a hurry, I will go and look through their profile, see what I like, and compliment them. It's the same thing that we do on Instagram or Facebook. You compliment somebody, you tell them something you love, you want to know where they got this. For me, if anybody knows who I am, I'm a big sports fan, particularly Atlanta United. So of course, when somebody else's profile shows up and they're at the soccer match, of course I'm going to swipe right, regardless, because we already have something in common. So that's what you want to look for, is like what you have in common. Then you have these conversations. For me, I go about a week or two talking to the person. If it's not really going anywhere, I leave it on Bumble. If it's starting to go somewhere, for me, because Jen and I talked about this, for me, I don't want to do the social media thing first. I want to talk to somebody. I want to be able to have a phone conversation with someone via text message. And it allows you to get out there and have a conversation with them, whenever you want. Your battery's not dying every 5 minutes because of Bumble. And I'm trying to think of what the other, voice memos. You can now send voice memos in Bumble. So you can guarantee yourself a ticket into their instant up rank, like of how they want to talk to you on their own personal level, because they can hear your voice. They know that you're not this fake account, because yes, people will create fake Bumble accounts. I've come across them on the opposite sex side. So that was fun. But it's one of those things where you want to have a genuine conversation. All right. So, and then you see everybody, you kind of weed them out based on that. And my Siri wants to do something. And you weed them out, you talk to them, you give them your phone number, and you continue having a conversation. When you feel when you feel like it is getting to a point where you want to share your life with them other than something personal where it's just the two of you, I take it over to Facebook or Instagram, depending on what they're comfortable with. And from there, I just keep nurturing the relationship. Like, that's just what I do. I keep talking to them. I'll check in with them. The cool thing, and I think I talked about this on one of the chats, but I don't know if you can see this, but if you have an iPhone, you can do this now, where you can pin your people that you're talking to. So I have all of my Bumble girls that I talk to consistently right here, but it's still like a normal text message under here, right? So, and as conversations come and go, obviously people get moved around, but building that relationship is super important first. And then if they have a question or if something comes up and they like the opportunity's there. For instance, I'll give an example. One of my Bumble girls, she had a really cute picture that she sent to me. I sent it over to Veronica and I said, hey, I'm going to pitch this girl because this girl could literally murder content from the fact that she actually was on Snapchat, but her friend took a picture of her and it looked like she was working. Like, it looked like one of our working photos. And I pitched her, in a very kind way. I'm not going to say, hey, you know what, you would kill it. No, I said, oh my God, your picture looks just like what I do for content creation. You should totally do this with me because you would be really good at it because of this picture. Like, this is so natural. And she said, I was natural. I said, exactly. So I'm still building that relationship with her. I have like 7 or 8 actual conversations going on that are personal. Everything else is still on Bumble or on Instagram. So, but that's what I've got for that portion. Jennah, was there anything else?
Yeah, I mean, so there's, again, multiple ways that you can do it. So she's talking about using it in a text format first, and my process is really different, but there's no right or wrong way, but there's multiple avenues of how you can kind of test your market. So for me, I move everything over to Instagram right away because I also want more people seeing my stuff, right? I want to grow my following to see, on the product side or whatever. And then from there, we continue talking. I go on their profiles. I do the 3-2-1 method. I'm liking their stuff. I'm commenting. I'm engaging in their stories, and they're seeing the content that we put out all the time, right? So that's my method of doing it. And then when it gets to, if I'm talking from a business perspective with recruiting, I then move it over to text when we're ready to pitch, right? And sometimes it doesn't always like go as planned, but like, I'll give you an example, because the girl just texted me just now. She's a Bumble girl. So my first point of contact with her when I flipped it to text was, you can't see this, but it's July 26th. Just now we're getting in touch where we're like, I sent her a potential video today, and she's like, awesome, very informative, and has me wanting to start ASAP. But I have a lot of questions. Can't wait to hear how I got started. Guys, that relationship was forming since July 26th. July 26th. It's now what, September 28th? So relationships take time. Some are faster than others. But again, it kind of just goes back into like, don't go into the conversation with a mentality that you need to pitch them within a certain time frame. When the relationship is there, do it. When it makes sense, do it. If it takes a little bit longer, hey, it's worth the wait. They're watching your stories anyways. And I've been talking to her this entire time, non-business related stuff. But now look at it. I could potentially have my next market partner. So just be patient with the process. What works for me might not work for you, and try out a bunch of different things, but don't give up on people, because I have 3 girls now that are from Bumble on my team. Right?
Yeah,
so like
cool.
It's totally worth it. And I don't know if you had other stuff that you want to go in before I finish out.
And really quick, out of those 3 girls, you have one of them who's about to freaking triple rank that you would have never found outside of Bumble. Like, that blows my mind. Okay, sorry.
I don't have anything else. I seem to be handling a lot of conversations right now. So just if you get overwhelmed, it's okay. I think that's like the biggest thing is a lot of people will be like, oh my God, I could hardly handle Bumble when I was dating. How am I going to handle Bumble when I'm talking to just friends? You can. They will wait. They will be there. And the joy of having something, I believe Jamie had a suggestion where she like put a reminder on her phone like every other day to go through her text messages and just like scroll through and see what she missed. This thing is great, but it's also the freaking devil because it will read my text messages without me knowing. So that's all I had to say about all of that.
Okay. I think that the biggest thing to just remember, like I said in the beginning of the call, is it's a numbers game. So like I'm on Bumble every day. Like I still want to do my regular IPAs on Instagram, but I'm on Bumble every single day because you got to remember that the conversations you start, it doesn't mean that it's going to go anywhere. So you got to work your numbers every single day. And like I said, move it over to Instagram, move it over to, text, be patient with the process and continue to plant seeds. Like I'm planting seeds all throughout my conversations when it's on Bumble and even into Instagram conversations. So, if you can get really good at subtly planting seeds here and there throughout your conversation, it sparks their interest over time. And that's all I really got. So I don't know if you want to open up. I know you talked about like Q&A if anybody has any questions.
Yeah, like go ahead if y'all like ask anything because we're not the experts, but we are well versed, I guess, amongst the group. So if you have any questions or like have any fears or concerns, like now is your chance. And Siri wants me to talk to her again.
Can I throw something in? Can I actually throw something in?
Yeah,
because
girl,
I've done a lot
it.
of work on Bumble. Yeah. So just like as somebody who's recruited on Bumble, what I've been doing lately is because my account got blocked for recruiting on Bumble, which is not a good thing. So what I've been doing, like on a new account, is I have been getting like talking to people, but like moving the conversation to phone number and then deleting them on Bumble. So eventually, if it gets to that, they can't be like, oh, she's only on here to recruit. Just a suggestion. Don't offer it in Bumble.
Sounds good.
Good to know. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that, but I also move everything before I even get to that point.
Yeah, exactly. Paulina, it's separate from like when you sign up for Bumble, it'll ask you if you want Bumble BFF or if it's Bumble, so it is separate.
Oh, you got muted. How did that happen?
Oh.
That was weird.
When you're recruiting actively on Bumble, are you swiping right? I don't know if you said this when I walked away, I apologize. Are you swiping right on everyone? And then Lindsey, can you touch on how you've transitioned to meeting people in person? Because you've done a lot of in-person dates, like a lot.
Yeah, I don't swipe right on everybody. I touched on how I talk to people that will mesh with me.
Okay.
Yeah, and then for Jennah, I think she does it.
I swipe right on everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone. Because again, I don't want to like prejudge on the person. Of course you want to have similar interests in order to create conversations, but like we could all probably agree that we're all different and alike at the same time. So I swipe right on everyone because I know that if they're meant for the business or if they're meant to be in my life as a friendship, like I'm going to be able to figure out how we can chat. I'm going to be able to figure out how we can create a relationship together. So that's not what everyone has to do. That's just what I do. And then as far as like in person, because I know we didn't really touch much on that, that is huge. Like meeting up for a coffee, meeting up with these people and just showing like you're a real life person is huge before you get to the point of pitching people. And you've done this more than me, so I'll let you talk more about it. But I just think that it does create such a genuine relationship and friendship and trust meeting that person first. So I'll let you.
I think what has worked for me just in general is like when you keep that consistent conversation going with that person, like building the trust with the voice memos, with the pictures. So with my very first Bumble match that we exchanged numbers, I would send her videos of me. She was going through a really bad breakup, right? So instead of me sending voice memos or like these long novel text messages, I would just send her a video of like me talking while I'm walking the dog and saying like, oh my gosh, I feel so bad because your ex-boyfriend did this, da, 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 da. This is how I got through it. And then she sees me talking so that she knows that I'm not just like a creep and have these videos like off to the side somewhere, because yes, there are people that will do that and it's creepy, and that's how serial killers are around. So being authentic and like you laugh, but I'm serious. That's how I keep things authentic. And then once you meet them in person, they already feel like they know you, right? And you're already talking to them for a long time. Well, a long time, like a week was before I met my first one. And then when you meet with them in person, like try to keep the conversation going. It's literally like dating. And if you guys haven't watched the dating or the, what is it called? Prospect 2.0, Dating Your Prospect 2.0. That training video on, they changed names, but it was Sam Gomes's training page. If you watch that, literally like make it about them. You have all the time in the world to talk about you. Make it about them. Find their needs, find their wants, find their dreams, ask them about their jobs. I asked yesterday, is it only Monday? Yesterday I went on a Bumble date with a girlfriend that I had been talking to for about 2 weeks. And she actually invited another girl that she met on Bumble. And both of them live pretty relatively close to me. And so the three of us, we all essentially met on Bumble through the transitive property or whatever the heck that geometrical thing is. But I met both of them and we both ended up talking, and I found out that one of them is not working. So did I obviously ask for her phone number? Of course. Did I reach out to her on Facebook? Absolutely. Did she tag me in something on Instagram? Because it was a really cute picture of the three of us. Yeah. So what did I do? I followed her back. And we created this relationship. So that was not, I wasn't planning it, but now I have two prospects now. One already uses Olaplex. So guess what I'm going to do? Educate. And the other one, I don't know what she uses. So I'm just going to keep talking to her, you know, like that's just one of those things where you have to read the conversations. And Sam, I think that you and I had talked on the side about it with meeting people in person. But just like when you read the conversations, just be you. And then when you go and meet them, continue to be that person, because people will literally their brain will put up a red flag the minute that they don't hear the same person that they were texting or talking to. And that should be your thing 100%, but it's especially true if you don't know that person. Your best friend will tell you in a heartbeat that you're not you. But these people, they will judge you and you will get blackballed. Like you won't be able to go anywhere. Because people will know who you are based on this person that you met with that you were inauthentic with. So
yeah, I think that being if I'm just going to put one last point out there because I don't want the call to be too long, but being authentically you and creating, you know, showing them that like who you are or whatever, it's huge. And I'll use the example of, because this happened yesterday, I was on a potential call with a girl I met from Bumble. We've been chatting for probably about 3 weeks. Her sister does Monet and she's come to me. And I was like, hey, I got to ask you a question. Why me? Why do you want to go into business with me when your sister does Monet? And she's like, if I'm being honest with you, you seem really genuine, and like how you know, put out your content or how you are as a person, you just seem pretty chill and I vibe with you. And I was like, fair enough. So at the end of the day, there's no secret sauce. It's really just relationships. And that could take 2 weeks, that could take 2 days, or it could take 2 months. There's really no right answer. So I'm not sure if you guys have any other questions. If not, that's all I got. And thank you so much for hopping on.